Dear survivors, Premier Duo, Mayor Kate, Dr. Ryan, honorable dignitaries, dear friends and families. We are gathered here this afternoon in celebration of life and resilience of our loved ones, our parents, our friends, our role models, Holocaust survivors. In his reflection on the Second World War and the tragedy of Shoah, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Hatcher makes the following observation, I quote, "There has never been so much guilt and distress, agony and terror. At no time has the earth been so soaked with blood. Fellow men turned out to be evil ghosts, monstrous and weird. Ashamed and dismayed, we ask, who is responsible? Indeed, who is responsible for broken promises and persistent indifference and persecution of thousands of innocent people? Who is responsible? At the end of the Shoah, the trials at Nuremberg, the birth of the United Nations, the International Declaration of Human Rights, and the promises of never again, while multiple conventions were being drafted to protect human rights and dignity, we saw 50 years later the whole world watching Rwanda, nearly 1 million Tutsis murdered by Hutu extremists in 100 days. At least 8,000 men, women and children, my own people, were murdered every day in churches, schools, public and private homes. They were thrown into rivers and mass graves in the bright daylight when the whole world watched. Today, as we remember the Shoah, we remember Cambodia, we remember Rwanda. We now remember the fall in the country of Sudan. What was done then? What's our responsibility? Elie Wiesel once said, neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. Today, millions in Sudan are living in refugee camps of death. Nearly 300,000 people have been murdered, while the Khartoum government murders, bullies, and lies about it. With reports after reports, resolutions after resolution, proposal after proposal, the world has failed and is failing to hold the tyrannical government responsible for its action. What we stand to lose as Canadians is not, it's more than agreement with the government in Beijing, the Arab League, the African tyrants, or growing voting blocs in our own country. Our very own humanity is what is at stake here. Today we must act and we must ask who is responsible. Who is responsible to teach tolerance, fighting bigotry and hate? Who is responsible to fight the immoral ignorance and indifference? We are responsible to speak up and shed some light in this dark period of humanity, a history that seems to keep on repeating itself. We are responsible to teach our generations and future generations about the Holocaust, the memory of its victims, and the courage of its survivors. We must ensure that every soul's dignity is restored through our outrage in the face of continuing indifference and hate. We must ensure that this dignity is restored through our deeds of justice. Dear dignitaries and friends, In the words of Rabbi Asher, the hour calls for a high moral grandeur and spiritual audacity. It's our time to stand up for what is right. It's our time to stand up for what we must. Dear survivors, I thank you. Thank you for your courage and your resilience. I thank you for your love and compassion, and I thank you for your grace and your generosity. Thank you for giving us so much of your life and your existence to the world that has taken so much from you. We look upon you as our role models. We are humbled and blessed to know you. May Hashem grant you courage and blessings. May Hashem grant you peace. And with a loving heart, I salute you.